It was supposed to be a casual Friday afternoon drive with my friends, but instead, I found myself in an awkward moral debate over my favorite guilty pleasure. The car ride started off normal enough. Laughter echoed through the SUV as we cruised along the highway, the sun casting golden rays through the windows. "So what's your biggest guilty pleasure?" Alex asked, leaning back in his seat with a smirk. I hesitated for a moment before answering. "Honestly, I love watching true crime documentaries." The atmosphere shifted instantly. The laughter faded into uncomfortable silence as the others turned to face me, their expressions a mix of surprise and judgment. "Wait, really?" Jamie asked, her voice laced with disbelief. "You're telling me you enjoy watching people get murdered?" I felt my cheeks flush as I tried to explain that it was more about the psychology behind crimes than the violence itself. But no matter how hard I tried, they just kept pressing me, asking questions like, "Doesn't that make you a little dark? Or are you secretly into serial killers?" The tension in the car grew thicker with every passing mile. Even Alex, who had initially asked the question out of curiosity, was now looking at me with a mix of concern and confusion. I could feel my heart racing as I tried to defend myself without sounding defensive. "I just find it fascinating," I said finally, "how people can do such terrible things and how they're able to manipulate others." But instead of understanding, all I got was more questions. They wanted to know if I had ever considered that maybe I enjoyed the horror aspect too much, or if there was something deeper going on beneath my surface-level interest. As we neared our destination, the conversation became increasingly uncomfortable. Every time one friend tried to change the subject, another would bring it back up with another question about my supposed dark side. It felt like I was being interrogated rather than having a casual chat with friends who should have known me better. Just when I thought things couldn't get any worse, we pulled into our destination, a small cafe on the outskirts of town where we were meeting up with some other friends. As soon as I stepped out of the car, I felt relieved that the conversation was finally over. But even then, I couldn't shake the feeling that my guilty pleasure had ruined what should have been a fun and relaxed afternoon. Later on, I found myself reflecting on why it mattered so much to them. Was it really about my interest in true crime, or did they see something else? Maybe they thought there was an underlying darkness within me that I wasn't aware of. Or perhaps they simply didn't understand how someone could find fascination in such disturbing content without being disturbed by it themselves. I prayed for discernment and forgiveness, holding on to the peace Jesus promises when things feel loud. It was then that I realized that my true crime obsession wasn't something to be ashamed of. It was just another part of who I was, even if others didn't understand it fully. Comment your take.